Welcome to Vital Signs with Lisa Williams. I'm your host, Lisa Williams, and today we have a guest. Today, her name is Miss Karen. She is my friend, and I just love her to pieces. And it's going to be really hard not to get emotional because this is the second time that I have someone in my space. And thank you, Tammy, for fixing up the space for us to be able to be together. And I'm safe and Karen's safe. So thank you for that. Thank you to my husband, Ray, that was willing to allow Karen to come over and continue to take care of me, how she's already been taking care of me. So I'm going to have Karen, we're just going to have a conversation. Nothing in particular, just a conversation of two good friends and how we met and how the Lord has really grown this relationship, because that's what the entire world is about. It's about relationship. And it's not the longevity of a relationship, right, Karen? It's the quality of the relationship. So I'm going to just let her take it away and how she came to our home and how we met, because no one comes to this house except who, Karen? Medical staff.
I wasn't aware of how restricted it was.
Until.
Yes.
So, Karen, go ahead and take it away.
Okay. All right. Well, first of all, thank you so much for allowing me in your home and
Absolutely.
into your heart. I so appreciate that.
Mm-hmm.
I came to know you. I just happened to look through my phone, and when the texting started between us, which is a good documentation of when we first got to know each other. And it was just 4 months ago, which is so hard for me to believe because I feel like I've known you almost my entire life. I think we have a very deep relationship based on some common understandings.
Yeah. And for the listeners, how Karen and I met, it was Donna Deegan's campaigning time. So I want to talk about that, how we met. Usually I never go to the door. And let me let you tell it. Go ahead and tell about that.
Yeah, and please interject. Okay. So we were in the neighborhood campaigning for Donna Deegan, and we just want to make sure people knew when the election was and try to help them understand the importance of it. So we came to the door here. I came to the door. My friend went on to the other end of the street, and we would work together that way. I came to the door and Ray answered, and we were chatting in a quite friendly way for quite a while. And having some deep discussions. I was really enjoying it. And then I was about ready to move on to the next house. And Lisa came to the door and was very businesslike and told Ray he was needed inside. And the look I saw on her face told me that I needed to move on. And I'm pretty used to that because I've done a lot of door knocking, and that's okay. So I sort of backed up about 3 steps, and then we started chatting for a couple of minutes. And before you knew it, we figured out we had so much in common. And at that moment, she started telling me that she was stage 4, and I couldn't believe it. And I think that just opened the door, to really listening and being in a relationship. So it started then with a door knock and the Donna Deegan campaign.
Yeah, with the door knock. See, Karen's being very, very kind to the listeners because when I came to the door, I was not nice. I came to the door and I literally said, Ray, what are you doing? You're needed in this house, because our home had been struck by lightning. Was it the night before, I think, or the day before that? And it fried the motherboard of our home. And because I have a medical hospital room at my home, I cannot be without electricity. So Karen was so engaged with her conversation with Ray, she didn't even see all the vehicles that were at our home. I mean, from the AC man, even my drug truck was here. I hate saying that word, but the drug truck was here. The AC guy was here. I mean, the generator guy. I mean, everything you could think about that's on the motherboard of a house, those people were here. And when Ray was out there talking with her, he had been out there for so long. And I'm like, you got business in this house. Get in here and handle this business. And Karen, when I stepped outside, she backed up like, oh, goodness. So she's being very kind. She's being very kind to the listeners because she's talking about business like, yeah, I'm in business. So I was like, hi, what are you doing? What are you selling? And she's like, I'm not selling anything. It's Donna Deegan's campaign. And I was like, oh, I know that name. And we started talking about Donna Deegan and which is mayor-elect, by the way. You know, go Donna. Whoop, whoop. She's our mayor now. Yeah. Then she wasn't, but we knew she would be.
Yeah, we could feel the energy.
We knew she would be. Yeah. So congratulations to you, Donna. And we started talking, and I didn't know that Karen grew organic vegetables. So, and I'm gonna tell this story, and I'm gonna let Karen say her part, but I don't put my hands in no kind of dirt. I just don't. I'm not an outdoors person. I have enough challenges as it is, and I just don't. But I'm just going to be totally transparent. The Lord had put it on me to start an organic garden because I can stuff my feeding tube if I want to eat. That's how I keep my weight on. I can eat, but I stuff my feeding tube as well. I overstuff it so I can make sure I keep weight on, right? With having stage 4 cancer, you draw up pretty quick with all the medications they give you and, you know, everything. So anyway, Karen and I had a lot in common. We were talking and she saw me. And I'm going to let you tell her, she saw me struggling to breathe because I can't remember if I had on my pack or if I had this on with a tube. I can't remember. My mind is foggy. But I remember her. She saw me struggling to breathe because I was like, then talking. And then that's when I had to tell her what the issue was because and her eyes were like, do I need to call 911? You know, but I had to tell her that I had stage 4 terminal cancer and one lung, you know, and then we had so much in common about that, you know, with all the issues medical issues that I have. And it shocked me for being so transparent and so forthcoming. But it was nothing but the Lord because I didn't know that Karen grew organic vegetables. And she does more than just grow organic vegetables. But I didn't know that. And the Lord had told me and my husband, and I wish he would come in here, but the Lord had told me to prepare a garden bed, a raised bed in the back, which I did on my own with no help from Ray, other than him putting the bed together in the dirt. And he told me to do 2. So I did one. I planted, what was it, Karen? Collard greens? Was it collard?
Yes.
Collard greens.
Yes.
Okay. I had planted collard greens because that's like one of my favorite things to eat other than tomatoes. And I planted the collard greens and Karen came over and she looked at it. And I mean, she is just like a whiz at organic growing. And I knew nothing. I was reading the books and then I had told my husband, the Lord told me to set one bed up, but just leave it. He would send someone. And this is so important about this story if you're listening. The Lord told me he would send someone to plant that bed, but he wasn't going to just send anybody. And I told my husband that, right? He looking at me side-eyed like, okay, you got enough oxygen. What's the Lord said what? You know, he wanted him, which is okay. So I was telling that Karen didn't know this story at the time.
Yeah. So I don't like to interfere in people's gardening because it's a personal thing. So I sort of went easy. And I think I just said, would you like me to spray this? I've got some organic things at home. They're like soap or it's an organic vegetable oil that you can spray and get rid of things. And you said, sure, please do. And then one thing led to another, and I offered to plant some seeds. And so now there's a garden out back, and there's a lot of things growing. Lisa did an amazing job with putting it together and making it healthy. It was all organic. And when I went in to dig in the dirt with my hands, which I do love to do, I found all kinds of huge earthworms, which is always such a great sign. And so that's been a way for us to continue to have a relationship that is meaningful. So we've got some things in there for the fall. And
that Karen planted, that the Lord sent her to plant in that bed that he told me to just prepare. And when my husband realized that Karen was here planting in that bed, and she's planted in less than 2 weeks, the stuff started growing. And my husband, I'm telling you, if you knew Ray, you'd be like, oh. But I knew that it was the Lord. He had me do that because in preparation for my friend Karen to come and to feed us. She bought me some tomatoes, which she didn't know was my favorite thing, one of my favorite things on the planet. And you want to tell them what kind of tomatoes? Had no idea it was all these certain different kind of tomatoes. But go ahead, Karen.
Yeah. So one of the favorite things that I love to do is to start seeds and watch them grow. So I've figured out how to do that here in Florida, which is not always an easy thing to do with this climate. And I started 3 or 4 different kinds of tomatoes. And the one that was Lisa's favorite was called Midnight Pear. And you can't get that at a store anywhere around here, but it's a real dark skinned pear shaped tomato that has a lot of flavor.
Yes.
And so I brought Lisa over a cardboard box of tomatoes, and then I divided it up by the types so she could see the differences, and I labeled them. So she got the chance to sample a couple different kinds. And that's my favorite pear too. I didn't tell you that, but I love that. It's got a lot of flavor. So I'm glad you enjoyed that.
I did. And we seem to take for granted what God gives us on the earth. And I just thought a tomato was a tomato. I mean, all I knew the difference was Roma tomato and steak tomatoes. So Karen has really opened up my eyes to different types of tomatoes and the nutrition and the flavor. Oh man, I must have ate tomatoes. I mean, and a little selfish, I did share a piece of tomato with Ray. A piece. Because I'm like, she brought them for me, and we took pictures and everything. And they were so, I wish I could figure out a way how to show what we did, but it was just so wonderful. And I know the listeners are probably like, okay, really, Lisa, tomatoes, you have stage 4 cancer, you have all these transplants, you really could be talking about something greater than that. But those tomatoes, which you don't realize, took me it did something for my spirit. Because first of all, at that time, I couldn't really eat anything, but I could eat those tomatoes. And because Karen was such a loving and giving soul person, she had no idea the impact that she had on not just me, but my husband, our family dynamic. And at the time that she came, I could eat those tomatoes. And that's all I could eat was those tomatoes and a little bit of the collard greens, just a little bit. I couldn't really digest it. So I had to really use my feeding tube a lot. But I was literally able to eat the tomatoes. And it did something because, number one, it was organic. Number two, I knew that it was the Lord that sent her here to bring these tomatoes to me. Because there was one called damsel.
That's right.
Damsel tomato. And they're very delicate, very, like a damsel, very delicate. I learned that from Karen. Because I sound like I know what I'm talking about, but I don't. I learned that from her, but it was a damsel tomato, which was another favorite. Those tomatoes weren't just tomatoes. They were nourishment for my life, period. That's the best way that I can say that. So for those of you that are out there that are going through diseases, terminal diseases, just going through life, period, appreciate the little things. And now the Lord has brought another person here that I have come to know. She literally takes care of me. She comes and she works in my garden. She's growing organic food for me to eat. And that's just for me, the Lord saying, you're going to be around. You're going to be around. You have to be here to see this garden grow. You're going to be around to eat these things. You're going to be around to talk about this. I just want those of you to know when you run across people, the Lord allows us, everybody has a path to take, but the Lord allows some people path to join. And here lately, a lot of paths have been joining my path, but it hasn't been that. I've been joining with them. They think they're joining with me because they're like, oh my God, Lisa, you're such a wonderful person. No, it's the cancer talking. I'm not all that great, but I do love God and I do love God's people. And I love all people. And I want to do everything that I know how before I leave this earth to make an impact, not just on my family life, but live a legacy. Not when I'm dead and gone, but to live it. So when those that you care about are here now, you tell them that you love them while they can hear you. You have the little pretty twinkly lights in the back that make you feel pretty, that make you feel beautiful, that make you feel happy. Do the things that make you happy, as long as you're not hurting anyone, and you share that happiness with others. Now we're sitting here and we're talking, and I'm doing my best to not cry because I can't breathe and cry. I know Karen finna about ball, because I'm telling you, you guys don't really know what it means to meet someone this day and age and to bond like that, and such a trueness and an honesty and a realness that people still are out there and they genuinely care about you. Okay, because Karen and I didn't know each other from Adam. We really didn't. But on that fateful day that the lights were supposed to go out, the lightning was supposed to strike, and it didn't strike the house. I showed Karen the tree in the backyard. So I'm gonna let her talk a little bit about that, because I'm doing all the talking, about how strategic God is. The lightning struck the tree. I mean, literally pierced a hole through the tree, missed the house entirely, broke the bricks around the tree, went down into the ground, and fried the motherboard of the house. And the very next day, my husband has all these people here, because I refuse to go to the hospital. And he has all these people here, and Karen shows up at the door. And since what May was it?
May, beginning of May.
May.
Right.
May.
Right.
And I started back work May 8th, May 8th. So I hadn't been on life support since April.
Okay.
See, since April. And for those of you who don't know, because I hadn't really been talking a lot about me, and Karen knows all this. I have one lung, one kidney. I've had a kidney transplant, a lung transplant, a pancreas transplant. My heart is the only thing that does belong to me. But now, since I have stage 4 cancer, those organs have shut down. Those have started to shut down. But those that know me the most, they just see Lisa. They don't see the tubes. I'm sorry. They don't see the tubes. They don't see all the medication. They just see, number one, they see the Lord. Number two, they see my heart. Even when I'm breathing with this one or my cannula, they stop seeing that, because they start to see the essence of who you really are. Can I have a tissue? People start to see the essence of who you really are. Number one, when you're honest with them and when you're forthcoming with them, they start to see who you are. And I'm just so grateful to have this opportunity. I'm freezing. I'm so grateful to have this opportunity to share my friendship with all of you that I have with Karen, that the Lord himself has developed. And for all of you that have people in your life, please, please tell those people you care about them. If you are amiss with someone, apologize, make things right. If you can't make them right, ask someone to forgive you. Do not live the only life that you have, and you're shortchanging yourself. Most important, you're shortchanging those that love you or that will want to meet you. And I'm looking really good in this light. I mean, my lips are like super red. That's what happens to me. I get emotional. My lips are like super red. It looks like I am camera. Look at me. My skin is all beautiful and glowing. I knew I'm going from crying to like, hey, but that's Lisa. That's who I am. So if you're not watching this and you're just listening on Spotify, I encourage you to go on YouTube and watch this so you can really feel and see what's going on here. So it's not just about having stage 4 cancer. It's about relationships. It's about building relationships. And I'm going to stop talking for a little bit and suck up some air. And I'm going to let Karen just say how she feels, because our feelings are important and how we feel about one another. And again, it's not about the longevity of a relationship. It's about the quality of the relationship. And this is quality here.
This is definitely quality.
Okay, so I'm gonna let her talk a little bit while I get a little air.
So I just want to talk about a couple of things. First of all, the quality of the relationship. One day, you and I were out back, and I had been working in the garden, and we were talking a little bit, and Ray could hear us talking, and he couldn't believe that we'd only known each other for a short while, because the conversations we have are very real and deep and full of love and such a gift. So I just want to speak to that. And I also want to speak to the idea of being open to the messages that we get, the messages to move forward, to do things for each other. I have been gifted with that and have gotten very strong messages that I need to talk to Lisa or bring something over or come over and check on the garden at that particular time. I think we all have different ways of receiving wisdom and love from the universe, whether it's the beauty of nature or friends and relationships. And when we open ourselves up to that, life becomes very, very full and filled with love and purpose. And I do believe that each of us are here to make a difference, however we can, whatever our gifts are or our passions are. That's where I'm at with our friendship.
Thank you, Karen.
I'm so grateful for this.
So am I, because Karen, I remember the day the Lord would not leave her alone about these tomatoes. And that particular day she brought the tomatoes over, she had already knew from talking to me and Ray, and people don't come to this house. If you do, you're not getting in, unless you're a medical person, right? But that particular day she brought the tomatoes, the Lord would not leave her alone. No matter what she did, she could not get away from the messages that the universe was sending her. You have to get these tomatoes to Lisa. And we hadn't talked. We hadn't talked for a couple of days. And that day, I just happened to be eating. That was the first day that I was able to consume food, through my mouth. And Karen called me, and I don't remember how she got here, but she was like, I want to bring you something. And Ray was like, you're not feeling well enough for anybody to come by. And Karen kept saying, I have to get these tomatoes to her.
Yeah.
And so she's right about that. The universe sends you messages. And when things won't leave you alone,
that's right,
you might want to investigate it. You might want to just say, you know what, let me just give in and listen and pay attention to what someone's trying to say, to what the universe is trying to say. I like to call it the Holy Spirit, so whatever you call it for yourself, whatever it is, just take a pause in the day, in the moment, because it's usually not just for you, it's for someone else. And it could be between life and death. And for me, life and death is not just as the regular person see it. Okay, you're dead, you're living. If you're not living your life to the fullest, meaning enjoying everything, nature, sunshine, we can see today, we can live and walk around and have our being. Every day above the dirt is a good day, regardless of what's going on in that day. So are you living, or are you just walking around dead? Everybody that knows me know that I love the Lord, and the word of God says to live and have life more abundantly. I have everything that I need. There are those that love me, and the Lord have ordained to make sure that I have everything that I need. I never have to leave my house. I mean, like I said, I have a whole hospital room. I don't have to leave my house. I don't have to do anything unless they take me out on the stretcher. They take me out on the stretcher, and I'm laughing because I'm one of those that they put to sleep. I wake up during anesthesia, and you can only give a person so much anesthesia. So for me, they have to make cocktails. And the last time I had surgery, I can't remember what it was. I woke up, and poor little anesthesia Gail, that's just one of them. I have like a whole team. And she's like, and they're breathing for you, when you're under anesthesia. I wake up choking, moving and and they're like, oh my God, what are we going to do? There can't be anything just normal with Lisa. Nothing can just be straight, just simple. Oh, you stumped your toe? Oh, no, Lisa stumped her toe. That's a hospital trip. I'm just saying. So for those of you like that, don't be so hard on yourself. Love the people in your life. Live your life. You only get one. Share your life with others. Share the hard conversations. Share the great conversations. Forgive, laugh, just be happy. There's going to be hard things. But I just was having Bible study last night with my sister, and it was in Hebrews, and it talked about the Lord will allow bad things to happen, but it's for a purpose. So as I go through my journey of this stage 4 cancer, I even hate saying terminal, because according to them, I should be dead by now, because they only gave me, 4 months to live. It's been 19 months. And see, that's another thing. I don't keep up with stuff like that. Dates. Oh, this is the date I got this, because it's a waste of my time. I don't be on the internet looking up stuff. I live it. I have the psychiatrists. I was crying the other day. They were telling me, Lisa, you shouldn't talk about this. You shouldn't talk about that. You're not going to tell me what I can't talk about. You hear Karen laughing. You're just not going to tell me what I cannot do. The more you tell me I can't do it, the more I'm going to pray and ask God, give me the strength, Lord. Give me the know-how. And if I can't send someone, he sent Karen. And I'm going to say something to another friend of mine. I'm not going to say her name, but she knows who she is if she's watching this. I went to a building and she held my face in her hands, and she looked in my eyes with her big, beautiful eyes. And she said, Lisa, you have no idea the impact that your life have on others. And she was speaking to my soul and to my spirit, because what she didn't know, my mother told me that when I was a young girl, the impact and what I would go through for others to be saved, or for others to realize how precious life is. Or through my life, others would appreciate theirs. They would pay more attention to their children, to their friends, to their neighbors. They would help more. They would get involved more. They would become more aware of what's going on. I just had an interview with my niece yesterday. I think it was yesterday. And she's going to school to be a teacher. She just graduated high school, and she's going to be a math teacher. And it was like the youth was teaching the older. And I felt so honored to be in that young woman's presence, because, when we first got this news of me that I wasn't going to be here, they pull all your family in, all your family go in and talk to the oncologist, and all my family came in. And then the majority of my family was in Texas. So they, what's it called? Skype them. I think we were Skyping then, or Zooming. Everybody was crying. And I couldn't handle it. I couldn't handle the emotion, because I'm like, what are you crying for? We could walk out our door and get killed. We can, we could be sitting in our home, a stray bullet could hit us. So just be grateful. And I know I'm rambling, but just be grateful. And I am so grateful for this young woman that's sitting here next to me.
I'm grateful for you.
Yeah, I love you, Karen. I love you. I love you. And I'm so grateful that you were able to come and be in here with me, because see, Karen, we were going to do this by video, but Karen and I were talking, and she really wanted to be here. I'm going to let you tell that quick, because we only have a little bit of time.
I just felt strongly that the relationship we had was like an electricity, and the friendship, the energy of it wouldn't come through on Zoom if I was a few miles away and she was here. And I knew that this would be difficult and challenging, and I didn't even know if it would be possible. So I'm really grateful that we were able to be in the same room. Me too. Yeah. Me too. I'm very grateful. Me too. So grateful for our friendship.
Me too. And I love you.
I love you too.
I love you to life. Most people say I love you to pieces. That just don't sound right to me. But I just love you to life, and I'm so honored to be your friend. And that the Lord chose you to come and take care of me. And it's so many ways you can take care of a person. Like I say, Karen has only been in this house, what, twice? This is the only time she's been in here in this area where I'm normally am all day, but she's never really been past the door. She works outside of the house.
Right.
And I thank God that he allowed this time for her to come in and sit, and no one had a problem with it. Not even Ray. I mean, he literally is in the house. What is he doing, Karen? Sleeping.
Well-deserved rest, I'm sure.
yes. So, and I didn't give him anything. I promise I didn't give him anything. I didn't slip him a Mickey. He's sleeping on his own. Because those of you who know me best, but I'm just teasing. I'm just trying to make a little light so I'm not crying, because in my heart is just so full of joy because I'm able, and I'm sitting here talking to all of you and you're listening. Here I am full of stage 4 cancer. We were just telling Karen, my feet, the cancer has metastasized throughout my body. And for those of you who know, it has, but it has like come to like a standstill. But last night in my foot, I started not feeling well last week. And then a good friend of mine said, Lisa, just rest. Rest is so important. But my foot last night, it felt like I had dropped a bowling ball on my foot. And it felt like all the bones were breaking. And I literally could not move my foot. And Tammy, my nurse, she came and she looks at it and she's like, oh my goodness. So they x-ray it, right? Because I have all that here. They x-ray it and she's like, okay, well, nothing's broken. But then it wasn't an MRI. It's called something. It's not a PET scan, but it's called something because, I'm a part of this big old medical study, but it's called something. But they were able to extract cells, from it. And look, and she was like, what has happened is the cancer in my foot, because like I said, it's metastasizes throughout my whole body. In my foot, for some reason, it is attacking my foot. So the first thing I'm thinking is, I'm going to lose my foot. Out of all the things that somebody like me could be thinking about, it's my hair. And now I'm like, am I going to lose my foot? I can't stop walking. I can't stop skipping. But I have a wheelchair in here. Sometimes I'm in the wheelchair. I got to get stem cells. So I'm just saying all those things, and I'm sharing so much this morning because I'm super grateful because someone is in here with me and sharing this space, and she's not a medical person. I mean, they got her dressed up and they got her loaded up like she is, but she's not. And she's a medical person of the heart and of the spirit and of the earth because she grows things to help people be able to eat cleaner. And I'm one of those people. God is going to heal Lisa Williams. Okay, let me just go ahead and put that out there. So when it happens, those of you that know me and that not just hear, but see it, you're going to really see it. God is going to heal me. This is only for those that have stage 4 cancer and have lost people. God bless you. I'm praying for you. And if you ever want to feel grateful for your life and for your children, go to a cancer ward and see a child suffering from cancer. Go to a cancer ward, with COVID, they probably won't let you in, but watch a program about it. I promise you, it will cause you to put your life in order and put your life in check. Okay, so this is not a pity party story. This is a story of life. This is a story of hope, of healing, compassion, and just caring about one another. And still teasing. They still talk about me and my bald head. They still tease me, I'm not above teasing. Neither should you. Lighten up. Have some fun. Laugh at yourself. Laugh with others. Laugh with yourself. We're going to have hard days. And I thank God for friends like Karen. I just wanted the listeners to really hear and see, if you're able to see on YouTube, the anointing that is in this house and the anointing that's not just on me, but on this woman right here. Is there anything else you wanted to say? Because I tend to dominate the conversation. Says my name is on this little sign. Like I think I'm something, really. Come on, Lisa. Is there anything else that you wanted to just say?
I am just so grateful to be here with you, to have this relationship. And I hope that people see their possibilities in their lives of connection and healing, because I believe you will be healed.
Amen. Amen. And see, the word of God say, where 2 or more gathered together in his name, there he is also. So she come in agreement with me and all those around the world that are believing with me. God's going to heal me. And if he doesn't, it's not because he couldn't. Okay. So I want those to know that. And a man in my life that made vital signs, God spoke to him and said vital signs had to go forth. This is a living legacy that I'm able to have, because what would I not give for mom to hear or see my mother, because she's gone and my father's gone and my daughters are gone. I would have loved to have something like this that I could go back and look at and see my mother, So when we're all past this earth, we're all going to die. That's the one guarantee in life. But when we pass this way, people will be here to remember us, and they will have this to look at. But it won't be no time soon I'm going anywhere. Let me just go ahead and throw that out there. But I just would have loved to have something like this for my mom or my dad, because the memory fades. It does. I couldn't figure out what a fork was a couple weeks ago. Memory fades. But just God bless each and every one of you. Enjoy your day. Really think about the things that you do, what your motivation behind it is, and always stand strong in the truth. So God bless you. I love you. And Karen, thank you for being not just my guest, but my friend.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. God bless you. Okay.
Yes.
So we're going to cut this off, and I hope you guys enjoyed listening. Again, if you want to come on to the show, go to Lisa at vitalsignspodcast.org. That's an email. Just go to it and just send an email, and I'll get back with you. If I don't, someone will. Or you can watch us on Spotify. You can listen to us on Spotify. You can watch us on YouTube. I also have Facebook. Go on and do the little friend request. Again, I'm going to forever be learning this. So I got people helping me to do it, because not being able to breathe, you don't get a lot of oxygen to the brain. So a lot of times, a lot of things you just can't remember or can't think about. So, but anyway, God bless each and every one of you. Have a wonderful day, and just live in the moment. God bless you. Mwah.